Welcome to the video on using the internet for gathering data. Basically, the internet can be used as an ethnographic study, using gathering information for focus groups, using online personal interviews, or even online social surveys. What is the difference between using the internet and the traditional methods that were there, such as face-to-face interviews, postal surveys, etc.? Well, one is that it saves time and money. And in today's difficult times, obviously money is very difficult to come about. So you can actually target hundreds and hundreds of people with a very cost-effective means by using the internet. You can reach larger geographically dispersed samples. A classic example were my students in Finland using Facebook for gathering data from individuals, and those individuals were all associated with their Facebook page, and they were located throughout the world. And data can be collected. I know that within 24 hours, some of these students actually collected hundreds of responses from individuals. However, the disadvantage is that the internet is not accessible to everybody. And also it loses that personal touch, and you can't have rapport with the respondents. And of course, the participant will have a concern about maybe viruses, hackers, and also spam email. So using the internet as a method of data collection, you can collect it through the World Wide Web, communication-based methods such as using email or another medium, what's known as synchronous communication from chat rooms, or asynchronous communications, which is a delay between responses. It's not immediate, and that's mailing lists. Obviously, you have to generate that mailing list. So one method of using the internet is for a virtual ethnography. And it is very much a new research site for individuals, and the ability to conduct ethnography through the internet is actually quite exciting. So here it's participation, observation and interviews with members of an online community. And Markham 1998 says that synchronous, meaning immediate and interactive, online interviews in chat rooms and multi-user domains. And here the participants are challenged between life online and real life. So are they actually presenting themselves in real life online or not? There's another term called nethnography, and Kotsanens 2002 coined this term for a marketing research method investigating computer-mediated communications. And his study concerned coffee and its consumptions. And he began by searching for news groups containing the word coffee, homing in on one, and reading hundreds of posted messages and narrowing them down. And then he followed particular threads in terms of their connections with his research questions. So what about using the internet for online focus groups? And here we could have it in terms of synchronous focus groups, and the contributions are seen and responded to immediately. You can use conferencing software, and participants must actually be part of the conference. But the asynchronous focus groups is where it's not necessarily immediate, and you would use email distribution lists, useful for when participants are in different time zones, and also much easier for those who have less computer skills. So what are the differences between online interviews and face-to-face interviews? And maybe what are the advantages of online interviews? Well, the advantages are that it's cheaper. You can access people in diverse locations. They have time to consider their replies. There's no travel cost, no need for audio recording and transcription, and it's quite helpful for sensitive issues, and it can appeal to shy people and more egalitarian. However, the disadvantages is, not everybody gets online or can get online, and it's quite difficult to establish that rapport and connection that interviewers can have in a face-to-face situation. Online interviews, you can ignore questions, and there's less spontaneity, there's the risk of identity deception, and also you cannot read non-verbal cues, which you can read in face-to-face situations. Email surveys, which I myself have used an awful lot, and you can have embedded surveys where part of your survey is part of the email message, or attached surveys have separate questionnaires available for downloading. For me, I don't know which is more successful, having the survey embedded as part of the email or the attachment. They do say it is easier to complete an embedded questionnaire, and they can be returned to the researcher quicker. The attached questionnaires can be more attractive in appearance. You can put logos, you can put headers, it can be more organized, you can filter questions out depending on the responses. But embedded, they say, do have higher rates of response. Web surveys. Web surveys work by inviting respondents to a website. They can be made to appear much more attractive than other types of surveys. Questionnaires can be designed so that filter questions can be programmed to skip automatically to the next question. You can scroll down and look at questions in advance. And the answers can be automatically programmed to download into a database, eliminating the coding chore that you would have with the embedded or the attached survey. And SurveyMonkey is an example of this type of software you can use. You can obviously mix online with paper surveys, and Evans et al. Carried out a survey on virtual communities concerned with consumption issued. They issued a paper-based questionnaire at locations in Bristol and the University of West England, and at 3 cyber cafes, and then they conducted an online survey. Invitations to respond to the online survey were posted on electronic links at the Bristol universities. A result of these two strategies, over 300 questionnaires were returned. So doing a mixed methods actually can also increase your response rate. Some people like paper, some will do web surveys. What about sampling? Not everybody has the internet. Those who do not may not be able to handle questionnaires online in email or web formats. Many people have more than one email address. There may be more than one internet service provider. A household may have one computer but several users, so then there's the question of who is the actual respondent. Internet users are a biased sample of the population. Few sampling frames exist on the general online population. However, you have to know there are advantages of online surveys over postal surveys, and it's the low cost. The faster response, actually near enough the immediacy of response is there with online surveys. You can design them attractively, you can print them out and still submit them online. You can put a manual entry online with the postal surveys if you wanted. You have an unrestricted reach in terms of a global reach. Fewer unanswered questions because it's their own time, they're not under pressure, they can come back to the online survey as well. Better response to open questions through the online survey, because on the postal questionnaire they have to sit down, think about it, get a pen and complete it. However, there are still disadvantages to online surveys compared to postal. There can actually be also a low response rate, but not necessarily as low as a postal survey. You're restricted to online populations. Completing an online survey does require a motivation to complete. One may question the confidentiality and anonymity issues, and you may also get multiple replies from the same person. I hope this recording has helped you to understand about using the internet for gathering data. Thank you.